This week's Parsha is Parshas Bamidbar. Torah starts off talking about Suas Rosh Koadas B'nei Yisrael Mishpachosam, that Hashem orders that the Jewish people be counted. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu had the Jewish people, they all gave in coins, and they all give a machzis hashekel, and Moshe Rabbeinu counted the numbers of all the Jewish people, and he was miyaches them. He said which shevet they came from, and counted the number 603,550 non-Levi males between the ages of 20 and 60. We find a similar counting in Parshas Kisisa, and if you look at the time, it's the exact same number. And if you look at the timeline, Kisisa was basically after Moshe Rabbeinu brought down the second Luchos. It was about 6 months after the Yitzias Mitzrayim. It was right after Yom Kippur and Tishrei, after they left in Nisan. And now this counting is ER in the second year. So it's really a bit of a pella that the numbers come out exactly the same. The Ralbag actually takes it as a sign of Hashem's hashkach. I guess the same way that HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed us in Mitzrayim how he took us, we came down with 70 and we left with hundreds of thousands. That's so too over here. HaKadosh Baruch Hu showing that I can make it that no one's gonna, that whatever numbers switch over into 20, whatever numbers pass over the age of 60, Hashem is going to make it even out exactly. As opposed to Rashi does a mathematical calculation of how to calculate the age of the people, whereby it didn't make for a difference. And for Rashi, it makes sense why it's the exact number of people. But it really behooves the question, what was the purpose of the counting at this time, especially according to Rashi, when according to Rashi it had to come out basically the exact same number. So Rabbeinu Yonah talks about how they're about to enter Eretz Yisrael, at least they were supposed to be about to enter Eretz Yisrael, so part of it had a purpose in terms of the military campaign, of figuring out the legions. There's also an element he mentions, Ramban writes similarly about each person coming before Moshe Rabbeinu, and where Rabbeinu Yonah puts it is each one getting a bracha, each family gets a bracha from Moshe Rabbeinu as the father of the family passes before him. Shiva has a famous shmuz on the Ramban about how just the idea that Moshe Rabbeinu is investing all this time to give each member of Klal Yisrael this chizuk of this personal one-on-one meeting with Moshe Rabbeinu. But the way Rashi in the first Rashi on the Parsha puts it is mitoch chibasam in front of monosam kosha. That because of Hashem's treasuring of the Jewish people and his love for them, that's why he keeps counting them. When they left Mitzrayim, Hashem counted them. When they fell to Egel, Hashem counted them. To know how many's left. Now when Hashem comes to be Mashra Shechina among them, right before the inauguration of the Mishkan, again, Hashem counts them. So the Medrash Rabbah in Beis Yotes really brings out this point. Come and see how Chaviv Klal Yisrael is before HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because Hashem writes the cheshbon 4 times by the 4 times of how many people we have here. 2 times by the Negolim. The way the Midrash puts it is it counts them twice per shevet. It lists the number once when it's counting them, and then when it comes to the Negolim again, it lists the total of how many per shevet. And then again, at the end over here, it gives the tally of how many total Jews, 603,550. And then it gives that same number again when it goes through the tally of all the Degolim. So it's really repeating the numbers multiple times. So it lets us know how Chaviv Klal Yisrael was before HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It says, because we're Hashem's legions, Hashem wants to count us all the time. Like a person, he has something treasured to him, he's constantly going over it, he's constantly, just imagine a person has valuable real estate properties, he could go through his cheshbon just calculating every once in a while, look, I have this property over here and that property over there, just to get the enjoyment of it. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu is sameach in the mentioning of the Binyan Yisrael, to say, these are my legions, how many I have in the world. Hashem is also comforted by them. Because Hashem looks and Hashem says, I have a whole world over here that doesn't do my will, and then I have Klal Yisrael that does my will. And the way of Bar Zuz is Hashem is Sameach Bechelko, that he has us. Medrash earlier in the Parsha talks about the idea that it's like, it's a pasuk in Shir Hashirim, Haviyani El Beis Hayayin v'diglu alai ava. That it's compared to the person who goes into the wine storage house and he finds that everything is vinegar, but there's one barrel which is full of wine. And the Hashem says, this good wine that I find among the storehouse, this is what the storehouse is for. Hashem said, I created 70 nations. The only one I get hana from is Klal Yisrael. That's diglu alai ava. So there's this element of HaKadosh Baruch Hu counting Klal Yisrael repeatedly and listing the number just out of a chavivus for us, because this is the nation that does my will, this is the nation that brings me pleasure. So it just hit me, this idea that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is very proud of Klal Yisrael, with our flaws, with our challenges. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is very proud, is a whole world, and this is the nation that brings him simcha. This is the nation that's the Tovsei Torah that goes in his path. I think it's an important mindset before Shavuos to realize on a communal level that HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes pride in us, and on an individual level as well. Hasidic Shasharim talk about how we see over here HaKadosh Baruch Hu counted every yochid, and every individual counted the same, whether he was the best guy in the yeshiva, the worst guy in the yeshiva, every individual counted. And Hashem takes pride in every member of this legion. I think it's important for us to think about. Is Hashem proud of me? Because that's an important mindset for us to feel that even while we have to be aware that we need to work on many things and we have a lot we have to grow, but we also have to realize that we bring HaKadosh Baruch Hu nachas when we do the right thing. There's a famous piece in the Rav Chaim Volozhin, it's a piece I think he even asked the Vilna Gaon about, if I remember correctly, that it says Lashon HaMedrash that Hashem is sameach bechelko. A person can't have whatever he wants. He has to be sameach bechelko. What does Hashem has to be sameach bechelko? He says because Hashem is sameach in how good of a job we do. We could be better. We could be different. Hashem is sameach bechelko. Hashem is happy with Klal Yisrael. I think we have to use this to motivate us, especially in this time of Shavuos, where we're getting ready to be makabel the Torah. We're trying to tap into our connection to Torah. We're trying to remember that everything else that we have in the world, that really our essence is our relationship with Hashem and His Torah and our Avodas Hashem. And to feel good about that avodah, to realize that Hashem appreciates that avodah. That when I sit in my room by myself and I learn Torah, that it is something beloved before HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I think the more we're able to tap into that, the more successful we'll be at doing that. And Emetz Hashem will have Aliyah in our Avodas Hashem, and will bring Hashem much nachas. Have a wonderful Shabbos.